Hello everybody, Jake Raby here, Flat 6 Innovations. I want to bring to you a 4.4 liter R44, if you will, crankcase that has been prepared here. And we basically have set this up to do the SUMEBore process, and part of the SUMEBore process has already been completed, and that is actually the plasma spray that is the basis of SUMEBore. So this R44 4.4 liter engine will make in the neighborhood of 480 horsepower, normally aspirated, compression ratio just under 13:1 on typical 93 octane pump fuel. This is not a race engine. Again, I will say this is not a race engine. This is for a daily driven 997.1 Carrera S. This engine was previously built as part of our testing, if you will, our comparative testing with Nicosil. So this engine has already been in the car. It was driven for about a year with Nicosil. It's now been taken out a few months ago, and we've just recently completed the spray process of the plasma into the cylinders. So this looks a little different than what you typically see here. This is a semi-closed deck. We don't really go this far until we get to the 4.4 liter or at least a 4.3 liter bore size. And we've made a lot of changes. Ellen Engineering's made a lot of changes, of course, as we collaborate on this developmental process along with Total Seal piston rings and the fine folks at Oerlikon Metco who actually invented and hold the patents for SUMEBore. So I just want to show you what this kind of looks like before it is honed. So these large cylinders are very large. To give you an idea how big they are, this is the largest bore M96 M9X engine in the world to our knowledge. Nobody's gone this big before. We've done this with Nicosil many times. This will be the first time we've taken this bore size with SUMEBore up to a 4.4 liter. So there's a lot of changes that have been made here to the crankcase to allow for coolant exchange around the cylinder, between the cylinder head. There's also some changes that are made to the cylinder head that I'm not going to be showing you right now. We may show those to you a little bit later on. But really what I wanted to show you today was how rough this is, okay? This is extremely rough before the diamonds are used to hone this to a roughness average that is smoother than any other cylinder that I've ever experienced in my 30 years of engine building. The profilometer reads down into the millionths of an inch, and it proves to us just how smooth this is once it is honed. So once it's all honed, I'll shoot another video and show you exactly how smooth it ends up being. But for now, this has the consistency of the surface of the moon. This is extremely rough, okay? Extremely rough. And a lot of people would never think that we can hone this as smooth as it will be honed. The tooling to do this is extremely expensive, and no one else in the Porsche world is doing this outside the factory. So a brand new 911 today, a 911 variant, would use SUMEBore, but Porsche only went to this with the most recent engine family. So we started working on this a few years ago and have taken a long time to get to this point. We do not have any plans to bring this into our engine program yet from anything other than a developmental perspective, because we still have a lot more of work to do. A lot more work with Total Seal piston rings and the piston rings and a lot of other things that need to be done to perfect this. We've made leaps and bounds with it, especially last year. We actually did a large online gathering with the fine folks at Porsche Club of America where we talked about this in one of the Tech Tactics seminars that you can go back to the PCA website and see that actually on their video channel. And we talked about SUMEBore. We talked about how it's done. We talked about all the characteristics of it, why it works so well, why we're not seeing any wear, why we're seeing reduced friction, reduced oil temperatures, reduced fuel consumption, reduced oil consumption, all of those things we're seeing with this SUMEBore process. So I just wanted to show you how rough this is. Again, that is like the surface of the moon. It's extremely rough. You can see it actually just was like an emery board with my fingernails across it right there. And this will be extremely smooth when all is said and done. Now, there's more work that has to be done to this block after the cylinders are home, because once we get the roughness average that we're looking for, which is so smooth that most people would never believe that it works, and if it was anything other than this SUMEBore process, it would not work. But we got just enough of the RVK, or the valleys in the hone, to hold oil, and we've got just enough of the RPK, or the peaks, if you will, for the rings to break in. There's no book about how to do this. We're having to develop all of this from scratch. This is what differentiates the Flat 6 Innovations engine program and the collaboration that we have with LN Engineering and Total Seal Piston Rings and Oerlikon Metco from everybody else. But once we get the honing work done, then we have to deck this. We have to do a little bit more work to get the block ready to be assembled. Okay? So just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on what's going on here at Flat 6. Every winter, we do a lot more development work, and this block is being prepared now to be assembled over the winter and have more test work done for about a year. Then we'll pull it apart again. We'll see exactly what we saw as a difference between the Nikasil and the SUMEBore after a year in the same car with the same driver. Now, we're doing this SUMEBore development because we know that over time, the environmentalists are going to win their battle when it comes to plating. Nikasil is a plating process that is not good for the environment. And there's a lot of acids that are used and a whole lot of things that are not good for the environment. And the prices of it have gone up a lot. Even before the COVID thing hit. But we know that over time, we're going to have a problem with that. And that's why we're taking the years of development time that we've got here to develop something to fall back on. So when the environmentalists do win, we've got another proven package that will step in immediately and take the place of Nikasil from a wear perspective, a friction reduction perspective, and other environmental concerns as well, because this stuff is good for the environment. It does not have a lot of those acids and a lot of those things that are required. This is a spray-on plasma, and this is being done in a lot of new cars. The Ford Coyote engine gets this. Polaris recently went to this with a lot of their off-road vehicles. Of course, Porsche has done it. VW Audi Group in general have done it. Big diesel engines have been done this way. The large truck, the Scania truck in Europe has done this with their diesels. MAN has done this with their diesel engines. And of course, all the most recent VW TDI engines have SUMEBore as well. So this is something that is only being done by major manufacturers at this point. And we've got a lot of attention the world over from other industries when it comes to different engines that might want to do this in the future. And everybody is looking at our efforts with this to see if they want to explore this with whatever engine they may be developing. So Jake Raby signing off for Flat 6 Innovations. Wanted to show you what's latest and greatest in the Porsche engine industry. And yeah, while the other guys are trying to beat us, they really don't know what the hell we're even doing. See you guys later.